See that little red dot? Hey, we are recording. We are live. Yay. 11 Mountain Standard, noon Central Standard. Love that. So welcome everyone to the Canva Ii, creating marketing material for your business. Of course, sponsored by two fantastic local organizations, the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce and the Smithville Public Library. I am sitting in for April Daniels, and we'll turn it over to Judy Bergeron with the Smithville Public Library for a shout out to our sponsors.
Thank you, April/Anna. I just want to thank everybody who's involved. Anna as a trainer, Debbie as a trainer, with this fine series of virtual trainings that the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce is partnering with us to offer to our business community. And we wouldn't be able to do it without funding from the Institute for Museum and Library Services through the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. So we're grateful to them for the grants. We're grateful to be able to bring these wonderful programs to you all. And today's trainer, I'm going to hand it over to her. Let's go, Anna.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy. And I'm going to give the shout out right back to you, because we know none of this would be possible without the work and the behind the scenes that you and April and many others do. So thanks to you. And
you're welcome. And thank you.
All right. All right, everyone, thanks for being here. I hope you have a nice bite to eat for your lunch while you're watching this. I am Anna Murray. I'm with Sundance Expressions Marketing. It's mainly social media and website. I do a little bit of print marketing, but ultimately you're here to learn a little bit more about Canva. So let me jump into, I'm going to share my screen. And as I mentioned before, you are welcome to ask a question during the training, but if you can, maybe hang on. You never know. I may actually answer the question while I'm doing the training. Now I'm supposed to be able to hit Control-L to make my presentation, but it's not working. So bear with me. I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to use this, and it may be because I'm actually leading the training. So Canva. There was an earlier class titled Canva, just basic for your business. I'm going to go over a few things just in case anyone has never had an opportunity to jump into Canva before I go right into building a flyer. So Canva is a very easy platform to use. It's very user-friendly. It's free. And of course, you can see that what I've written on the slide here, the possibilities are endless. And even beyond this training, Canva is amazing. They have their own training videos, so you can go in and check them out as well. If you do not have an account, be sure just go to www.canva.com and sign up. They'll always encourage you to purchase the pro version, but don't let that intimidate you. I used the free version for 2 years before I jumped in. I do not regret spending, I think it's about $125 annually. You will see in some of the things, if you have your own account or if you're about to create one and you go with a free version, please note some things you see today, I will be using a paid version. So if you're seeing some features that you like and then you open your own account, you're like, I don't have that. Those are some of the obvious differences in the free and the paid. But I'll go over that a little bit further down the road. Ooh, I went way too fast. Maybe I'm not going fast enough. These are a couple of the posters that I've designed in the past. These are 11 by 17. Of course, once you create, one of the things that you'll find in Canva is once you create the graphic, you set up your initial size, and then you can save it as not only a PDF for printing, but also as a JPEG or a PNG. And these are just some of the options here. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit later when I tell you less is more, when there's a lot of information on these things, but you always want to meet the needs of your clients, right, Debbie, when you are building something for them, even though you may say there's less is more. So, all right, I can ramble, so let me get started. Here's the screen that you will see when you sign into your Canva account every day, whenever you first set up or whenever you're going on weeks and months and years later. This is the general look and feel. and I want to do a quick overview. Up the top right-hand corner, hopefully you can see my mouse, my little hand moving. You can create the design and get right to work. You can scroll over to all the designs that you have already created. And you can come down to an area here. This is where I spend a lot of time, which is my folders. And so being a social media marketing business owner, I have different clients. And so I folder each client's work in their own specific folder. It helps me with organization. But the nice part is if I forget, everything is in all your designs and it's just in the timeline that it was created. And trust me, there have been times that I've had to go back and scroll a few. Let me see, I think we might have, y'all bear with me if I'm going to jump between. Megan says she can't see anything. Uh-oh. Debbie, can you see? Debbie, unmute yourself and help me out there, please. Do not want to keep moving if you can't see anything. It's stuck on the let's get started.
I can't, all I see is let's get started, and that's it. Still on that
Really?
page.
It didn't take you over to the, well,
No.
what is going on? It says I'm sharing my screen, but you don't see anything but this. So now you see the posters?
Now I see the posters, right?
Let me just get that out of the way. Now do you see? Whoa,
Nope.
this is so interesting. My screen sharing is paused. Okay, gonna reset.
There you are. There you are.
What in the world? Now can you see the design anything?
Yes.
Yay. Megan, how about you? Yes, awesome. Thank you, Megan, for letting me know. And Debbie, please don't hesitate also. I was just a going. That's a very interesting thing with Zoom. All right, well, where was I? When you sign into Zoom, when you sign into Canva, here you have the screen that you will see. So at the top right-hand corner where my mouse is turned into a hand, I can select create a design, which we will do here in a moment. But I want to give you a quick overview in case you weren't able to attend the Canva I class, which was a basic class about Canva. Over to the left, I have an area selected here titled All Your Designs. These are all the designs that I have created. And then I have at the bottom, all your folders. What that is where I place the content for each client. So if you're on a separate screen, or if you're minimized your Zoom window now, you can ditz around and look in there if you do have a Canva account. So you also will notice that there are templates, there are features, and then here's where I was talking about a learning opportunity, getting started, designing, marketing, basic graphic design. It's really an opportunity to be a one-stop shop. So it's really kind of nice. Today, we're going to build I call them posters. Some would call them flyers. Typically, a poster is something over the size of the standard sheet of paper, but the words are so interchangeable in the way we talk these days. Vengage, VENNGAGE, is another platform similar to this that was taught in a previous class by Abigail Jones and has a lot of the same features from the free and the paid. So I recommend that people look at different platforms because you need to use the platform that feels best for you. So this is Canva, so we'll stick with Canva, but I just wanted to do a shout out about Vengage as well. I've not personally used it, but Abigail did a good training on it. So here we have a template. Let me just show you first. When you sign in, you're here to build a poster for an event that's coming up. Typically, a poster in my mind is about 11 by 17. That's a ledger sheet of paper. Of course, posters can be any size you want, and then we will create a design in a moment. So what I want to show you is that in Canva, if you feel like you need some creative support, you don't feel as you can't just start with a blank canvas and go from there, you can select the templates area and you can look in this section here at the top, templates, there's a drop down, then there's a marketing piece, and here's poster. So I'm going to select poster. And then this is just all of their posters. You can scroll down if you're looking at the same thing as I am. So many different opportunities. And notice how some of the examples that are popping up are centered around the time that we're in the season. So spring is coming up. That's a cute little Easter egg. These are all pre-made, and you can change a ton of things about them. You can add pictures, etc. So I wanted to show you that. A nice feature at the top is that you can search. Here are different types. Here's advertising at the bottom. It's underneath, it's like the toolbar underneath this large graphic here. And as you scroll, you'll see these are more centered on advertising. So you can get some ideas about what your poster you may want your poster about. Now, these are random. These are all over the place. These are fitness. These are makeup, books, etc. Right? At the top in this search area, I can type in, let's say we want to do a poster on sale. Let's see, baby clothing. Who knows? There you go. It's just like a Google search. There's all these posters that are already built that you can take and then personalize. You can take it all the way down to the base. And a little hack that I use, I literally open a second tab, a URL on my computer, and I type in a poster of baby clothing sale or a wedding shower or whatever I'm looking, maybe it's a fundraiser. And I look at the images section in Google to get ideas of what other people have done. I do not replicate. That's a copywriting issue. You do not want to totally replicate, but you can get ideas. Oh, I like that font. I like that style. I like how that picture or that image sets in there. Just a little hack that I do.
I always say that the best ideas are stolen. So,
There you go. Exactly. But modified enough to where it's actually yours, right? Exactly. All right. So from there, I'm going to jump back over here to the home button over here by the canvas. I'm going to select home. And let me jump over here to all of my designs. And here recently, let me go to fast because I'm giving a lot of stuff away here. Here's a poster I did. Let me enlarge it just a little bit because I don't want to take it out of the screen for you. This was an idea that I saw over on the left-hand side. You know that you see how all some of the templates are showing up on the left. So I got some ideas from that, and then I modified and made some changes. And this type of design, of course, with this one, there's a sponsor. Of course, the chamber is the main sponsor. This is not the actual poster, by the way, but this is just a build to let you see what it's like. And of course, there's a corporate sponsor with Doug's Plumbing down there. But this has got your basic who, what, when, where, and how. So goodness gracious, there are some folks that really like to fill a poster with every detail. Well, someone doesn't have to go anywhere else for a bit of information. In a poster like this, when I say less is more, that is my opinion. Less is more is based on I get the basic information and now I know what to do. I know what it's going to cost me. I know where it is. I know when it is. I know what it is. And I know who to contact. That's what I need. I can't just show up. I have to buy a ticket ahead of time. Others, like you saw on the, apologize for saying us so much. As an educator, I notice it every time. In my PowerPoint, you could see where like the fly-in had all kinds of information. That's what that client wanted, and that's what that client got. They wanted every bit of information of what was going to be for sale in the concession stand, to what kind of planes were going to be there, to what time it was, which was important, but a lot of details. And they loved it. It made me happy because it made them happy. So you're not here to actually see this. You're here to work on building a flyer or a poster. So I'm going to go back to the home button. I'm going to come up to the top right-hand corner where the word or box create a design lives. And now the options are endless. You can see all the many options. I know what I want to do is build a custom size. So I'm going to go to the bottom. There's a circle with a plus, and I'm going to select custom size. And here I get to toggle between. You can see I have created some designs in different sizes already. You can see they've been recent. Over to the right, I get to select pixel size, inches, millimeters, centimeters. I live between pixels and inches. For ease of this, I'm going to select inches. And also, let me show you what happens if I don't select beforehand. If I type in, I want an 11 across by 17 tall, and I select pixel, or I try to, oh, I don't want pixel, I want inches. See how it converts the numbers? So make sure you select if you want the pixel or the inches before you put in the actual dimensions. So I know you're thinking, would you get to the design? But very good stuff, stuff I've learned just from making the mistakes. So here's my canvas, literally. And you'll notice that it has no title, but it does tell me what size it is. And then at the bottom, I have it is set at a 19%, and that is done automatically by Canva. So you can start your design here, or you can go ahead and select to increase the size a little bit, which is a very good tool. It goes all the way up to 300. Isn't that amazing? It'll go to 300, which is really important when you want to fine tune where something sits, how close letters are, things of that nature. So they're good tools. All right, so what I'm going to design. I thought we would go ahead and create a design for a fundraiser for the chamber. A random idea. Hopefully April doesn't watch this video and then get an idea for this event, because then it would be the 73rd event. Debbie understands. So I'm thinking, let's do a taste of Smithville. So we want to call, it's going to be an event where people are going to come around and they're going to buy tickets and they're going to go taste Smithville. They're going to go to different restaurants and have different tastes that are promoted by that restaurant. It's really trying to sell Smithville's restaurants, right? So let's see, what do we have here? If I can spell restaurant correctly. Oh my goodness. I did mention I was an educator, right? Restaurant event. So I just typed in a template, right? And you'll see to the left, I get all of these templates to choose from, because I don't always have that creative genius just coming blank from my mind. And these are just options that have come up because I've typed in restaurant event. I like this one. You notice my mouse is over it. It keeps flipping because it's a 2-page. Don't let that intimidate you. You do not have to use both pages. I like this one. Of course, it's not about drinks, so I want to put a food item there instead. I kind of like this one too. This wine and cheese party.
Yeah.
Kind of plain, but I like it. And you know what I like about it is it's different. It's simple. Some of the posters that I had created and I put in the example section of my slides, those were a lot of those were kid and family focused, so they had more of a fun, cartoonish feel, fun. This is something we would want to promote, I would think, with adults. Now you notice that it doesn't fit all the way. Not a problem. We can fix that. I'm going to select this little side arrow and minimize. You'll see how that worked. And if I want to add something, it pops right back in. So no worries there. I want this to fill the screen. So I'm going to select the entire item where it grabs all the design features. If you'll notice, when I drew a box, all I did was click on the outside and I just moused over to grab it all. What it is showing me is each one of these areas is a design feature. So there's a title, there's subtitles, there's information, and then there's an image. Well, I want this, I don't want any white space on my poster. So I'm going to go ahead and expand. So see, I selected the entire group and it puts this little box around it. I can select it to where it'll fit the entire screen, or excuse me, the entire poster area. But there's a little issue now. Some of my features are off the page. No fear, we can take care of that. I want to leave the wine and cheese where it is. So I'm going to come over to this top right-hand corner and I'm going to select the key, the lock. And now I cannot select this and move it, but I can come over to these items and now I can select these 5 items and as a group, hang on, I can do this. I really can. I've done it before. Now I can move them over. Now they're within the actual poster. Voila. So this image, see the little key at the bottom? This element can't be edited because I've locked it. If I want to change that, I can come over and unlock it at the top right-hand corner. And now I can do all kinds of things with it. I can make it larger. I can make it smaller. If I do something and I revert, I want to go back to where it was, I select the top undo tool, and there it is. And I can toggle between what I did and what it was. All right, I want to change these words. So the first thing I'm going to do is change. I'm going to highlight the words I want to change. And what did I call it? The taste of Smithville. All right, that doesn't fit, but I can fix that. I highlight and I come over to my font size tool. And I can just decrease until it fits, or I can type in my own number. Depends on how patient you are and what you want to do. If I want to put the word of on the next line, then I would simply put my cursor in front of the O and hit return. There's all kinds of things that you can do. I can backspace and leave it there. I can change this to a more elegant font if I wanted by going and selecting the Fair Play Display is the name of that font. When I select that, I have an opportunity to see some of the ones that I've used recently, and I might try some of those, or I can type in under this magnifying glass or search tool icon and type in cursive. My spelling is really bad today. And I can try to find something I think would look good. I can always try something and see what happens. That might look okay if it's large enough, but you know, someone told me once, this is a shout out to Debbie, that if you have to ask someone else if it looks good, you need to keep working on it. You need to be happy with it yourself. And I appreciate that. I live with that. I actually like this font. It's kind of different. Might not be the best for this situation, but you guys don't want to actually sit here. It usually takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to create a poster because I'm so critical of it. So let me move on because you want to see the design features. Now, I don't want anything to happen to this as I'm working on other areas of my poster. So I'm going to go ahead, since it's highlighted, I'm going to go ahead and lock it. So anything I do is not going to mess with the title of my event, Taste of Smithville. Of course.
Yeah, I don't have the lock on mine.
That may be, are you a free account holder?
No, I pay.
It's okay. Do you see 3 dots at the top of your screen?
Yeah.
Select those dots.
Okay, all right, now I see it. Okay.
Okay. What that is sometimes there's so much, they've added so many tools to the top bar that they start condensing it into a menu.
Okay.
Just like this, just so I can show Megan also. When I select what Debbie was saying, that she didn't have a lock in the top right hand corner, it's under these 3 menus, and there it is. The 3 little menu bar. Or Debbie, you can also minimize this secondary row of information, you can select that little arrow to hide, and then maybe it'll show up at the top right hand corner.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for that. It's a good pointer. All right. Let me say that I want to do something. I really like this. I love how it looks kind of like chalked and it's really pretty. but I'm going to see if there might be something out there that I like. So I'm going to select photos because I kind of like photos. And I'm going to type in, what kind of food? Restaurant food would be, let's see, let me just try food. I don't think that'll work, but it's not bad. So I get some ideas of food from the restaurant, food from on our kitchen tables or counters. How about this one? So if I want to use this one and take this one off, I'm just going to select it, sitting on top of it right now. I'm just going to select the larger image, and I'm going to go over to the far right, and I'm going to trash it. Okay. If I want to use this, I'm going to enlarge. This is just as an example, you guys, because I really did like that other. It's going to drive me crazy too, because let me use this one. It looks like it's in a restaurant. So this one actually does look like it's in a restaurant. If this is a really incredible tool, I love this tool I'm about to show you. If I want to keep the plate of spaghetti, and for some reason I want to get rid of everything else in the background, make sure your image is selected and select at the top secondary toolbar, effects, and then there's a background remover. For years, you had to rely on Photoshop for that in Adobe, and it's a wonderful tool. I love Adobe, but this is a pretty ingenious. This is AI work like crazy. There's some amazing parts to this. It's just a plate of spaghetti now. Now it's not as clean on the edges, but I think if I zoom in, I might see that my plate is just an elegant plate. It is. So look how fantastic that is. It took out everything but the main part, the focused part of that image. And this will work on the photos that are preloaded as well as the photos that you take and add. And if you want to restore it, you select the restore button and it will bring it back. Let me get down here. Hang on, I'm going to freeze up here. Actually, I'm just going to do my back, the undo, and it takes it away. So those are options. If I think this picture is going to work, but it's too bold, I may come in here. If you notice at the top right-hand corner, there's a transparency grid by the paint bar. I can select that. And since my image is selected, I can actually kind of mute it to where it's not so in your face. It's much more muted. Kind of nice. I love that tool. It's really nice when you use it as a full background. Let me show you what that would look like. If you select elements, you have all kinds of things that you can add. You see a lot of these fun little elements used in social media posts and all. But at the very bottom, not very bottom, excuse me, there's a section titled grids. This is under elements. You have to scroll down a little ways and you select grids. It'll fill up the entire screen. Now, what happens here is it'll take this image. When I select the image of the plate of spaghetti and I hover it, it'll take up the entire page. And within that, you see how it doesn't fit exactly. Let me make sure you guys, there we go. See how the plate overflows and the darker section is where the actual poster sits. So if I want this to move over a little bit, one way or the other, let me just go extreme. See the change? If I wanted to go the other direction, see how it sits on the poster? So what I'm doing is double clicking the image and I'm looking for where I want it to sit. Now, this is a great opportunity to talk about the 2/3 rule or the thirds rule. The rule of thirds is where when you center something, you off center a little bit from the actual grid. You can see the 6 boxes there or rectangles. So I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to go a little bit to the left. I'm going to select to the side. I kind of want this spaghetti at the bottom more. So I'm going to make it a little bit larger. Notice how I grab that bar, the little dot at the bottom of the image. When I grab that, I can make this larger. I'm going to move it back over a little bit. And I'm going to undo. See how it sets? Now I have some issues I need to attend to. Number one, you can't see any of the writing. So I'm going to first select the image again. So it's a single click. I'm going to go up to the transparency option, and I'm going to take it from 100%, and I'm going to mute it a little bit. And what that does is it helps the wording stand out. See the difference? And I can go back to see the changes. I can toggle back and forth at the top between before and after. All right, I'm going to leave it like this for now, and then I'm going to increase the size of this so that you can see it better, a little more closely. Notice this looks good when it's up close to me, but if I zoom out, I have to really think, is this something I want to be bolder? I have selected it. This is very much like a Word document. I can double click. Here's the font, or excuse me, the text color. I can change the colors. And this is another incredible feature within Canva. When you have either your logo, your business logo, or you have an image on the artwork that you're creating, Canva takes that feature and gives you complementary colors that you can add to your design. Otherwise, you may be out there Googling, what's a complementary color to FF7271? And that's a hex number. It's crazy. So I can change, you're invited to be this brownish orange. And then I need to check it. It's a little dark. So maybe I don't want to use that color. Maybe I should go with a white. It's all in what you feel, what looks good to you. As I scroll to the bottom, so I used a white. And let me tell you one more thing real quick. Remember how I was locking things earlier? If I'm not careful, if I try to pull in a logo here and I don't lock this image, let me go to my folders, and I have some logos, just random logos. Say I'm going to add the Smithville Community Clinic as a sponsor, and I want to do a row of sponsors at the bottom. If I don't lock this image, because remember it was a grid, and a grid is a space that you hover an image over and it fills up the entire space instead of you trying to expand it. If I don't lock this and I select the Smithville Community Clinic, watch what happens. Oh, that's a bad example because it doesn't have a white background. Let me use the Keep Smithville Beautiful. See how it's a full image, it's a full PNG, or it's not a transparent PNG. It could be a JPEG. As I scroll, see how it takes over the whole screen? You don't want that. I don't think. So you select the image, you lock it. Now I can take my sponsor and I can place them at the bottom and do a row of sponsorships. My personal design, the love that I have for designing when you add sponsors, I love it when they look like the Smithville Community Clinic. Well, not like that. Be careful what you do there. You can always trash it and bring it back. Make sure you have that plus. There you go. I can move it now. I love the transparent background. It doesn't always work if you don't have a solid color in the background that enhances that sponsor. I'll show you what you can do there. But if I want to do this with the Smithville, excuse me, Keep Smithville Beautiful, I'm going to, just like earlier, I'm going to go to Effects. I'm going to remove the background. Now I should just simply have the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce and the middle part. See how it took the white out? I can check my design. See how it's clean? I just love that because so many times I see where there's a white background and then everyone else has these really clean, professional looking logos. Now you're thinking, okay, Smithville Community Clinic doesn't stand out, neither does the Keep Smithville Beautiful. I can fix that. I can take care of that. I'm going to scroll over to my Elements tab on the left. I'm going to scroll up to the top. I've recently used this gray box, but it's under the shapes. Canva let's remind you what you use on a regular basis. So these are a lot of things that I've toyed around and played with and used with other designs, but I'm just simply going to select this shape. I'm going to drag it down. See that complementary color? It didn't come across as gray. I'm going to drop it to the bottom. I'm going to minimize, and then I'm going to drag it outside the boundaries. You don't have to drag it outside the boundaries. I like to. Now I'm going to select the position of this piece of the design, and I'm going to select go back. See how now there's a consistent color. Now, this color here is a complementary color to this image of the spaghetti, which is good. It's a complementary. However, I think it's still a little bit too bold. And there's two things I can do. Option number one, select that feature, go to the color box, and then I can select new color. This is where it lands. This is also a nice cheat. See this highlighted FFE0B7? That is the hex number of that color. So if you ever need that for a client, sure, I can get you that color. You get the color, you send it off to them. Or you need a complementary color. That's a little more detailed. I'll do that later. But if I want something to be a little less, I don't know, it just doesn't look right, I can take this dot and I can move it. I'm moving the dot, but see how it's changing on the screen? Crazy, isn't it? I just think that's too difficult. Sometimes I like that control. Most times I don't. What I like to do is scroll up to this. Let me make this larger for you. I'm going to scroll my bar down. And so here's that graphic feature. I'm going to select transparency. Now I'm going to stay within this hex color, this one hex color, and I'm going to change the transparency of that hex color. So what I'm wanting to do is keep the color scheme within where it complements the rest of the poster and mainly that image, but I also want the background to provide enough pop where my sponsors stand out or my own business name. Does that make sense? I can change the color, or I can change the transparency of this color, the one color. All right, now I'm going to zoom back out. So the line is what it is. There you go. So it allows your sponsors to pop, but it also complements a little bit. And if I don't like that line, well, there is another fix. It may not be the best, but I can cover the whole poster. Now, if I do that, I have to come in here. You guys, I hope I'm not getting too far into the weeds. I may want to enhance some of that color of that image before I do that. I think it's too washed out. I don't like it. So I'm going to keep going back until I find that place that I want it. Because my main thing is I want to give love to my sponsors, but I really want to drive people to this poster. I want them to go, taste of Smithville. What is that? Oh, that spaghetti looks delish. Where is that? Well, hello, it's in Smithville. Come see it. So here is a good place where we could take this information. I could move it up and I could list all of the restaurants. Why do I pick the words that are going to be the hardest for me to spell? Restaurant number 1, restaurant 2. So I can list all of the participating restaurants here. And of course, I can change my date. I like how this is prepared. But if I want this to stand out more, I can also do the same thing as I did with this box. I can select different images, or excuse me, different sizes. There's a see all under shapes on the left, and these are all the different shapes. Now, this being a restaurant, people typically understand that plates are typically round, right? So I could bring in a design feature such as this. I could add a different color, and I could also allow this to be see-through, but give it just enough to where it helps this information pop. Now I know I just took a round plate with my justification and made it more of a platter, but the idea is I would like to fully show you a beautiful finished product, but the point of this class is to show you the different design features that you can use and how you can create from scratch, or you can use a template and then make it your own. If you remember, our very first design today was more of a chalkboard, and it had a like a chalked wine and cheese, etc., which were great, and they would have worked. This is just a different feel. So you know what the point you're trying to get across, you know your clients, your audience, and that's where you really design from. And I think Debbie would agree with me there on that. So you guys, yes,
I'm sorry.
no,
I know how to do everything, but I lost you when you made the image from the elements to the full poster.
oh, okay, not a problem. Not a problem. I'll show you that. That's in the grids over on the left. It's here under elements where I'm at. So you select the elements tab. Now, because I'm already in elements, I have to come up because I've selected shapes. I have to X out of that. I scroll down to grids,
right?
And I select it, and it fills the entire page.
Right. Okay, got that. So how did you get the image to be?
Okay, go to your photos and select whatever image you had. Like here, I can grab a hamburger.
Well, I have the spaghetti there.
Okay, take anything you want, and it'll select it from your side. It'll pop up into the middle of your image. Put your mouse in the middle and just move it until it fills the screen.
Oh, wow.
I know, isn't that crazy? Yeah. And you know, I just got this crazy idea. If there was a Taste of Smithville and there were 9 participating restaurants, you could actually create this page or this poster 9 different times. You don't want to change any information, and you don't want to do a lot of recreation. So let me show you a little hack. It's not a hack. It's just a feature they have. So here we have a restaurant in Smithville that has spaghetti. Okay, now we have a burger restaurant that's going to participate. We're going to list all these restaurants here. And then the only reason I put this little oval back here was to help the date, the time, and the cost stand out. Okay, so I'm going to go to the top because now I like the design. I'm happy. I couldn't be happier. My client's thrilled. They just think I'm awesome, as they should. I'm just kidding. That was a shameless plug. Now I want to create this 8 more times for 8 other participating restaurants. Oh my gosh, don't let that make you go crazy. There's a little bitty double box at the top of your image. If you hover over it, it is duplicate page. Select it. Now I have this. I have page 1 and I have page 2. It's duplicated. So where Debbie had asked me a question and I went in and added a hamburger, say we have a hamburger place, there we go. And I can do the same thing with this hamburger as I did with the spaghetti. I can increase everything about it, but now this kind of indicates we're going to have a restaurant that has a delicious hamburger. So my marketing brain says, if I'm going to support a Taste of Smithville and I've got 9 participating restaurants, I'm going to ask each of those restaurants, what is it that is your signature dish, or what is it that you want to promote? And then you ask them for a picture of that, or you get something from this awesome library within Canva to give a feeling of, wow, I want that. So if I wanted to do this for a barbecue place, again, I could duplicate the page. Notice it's page 3. I could come over to food and I could type in BBQ. Oh my goodness. Look at all those options. Look at all those options. Even as a vegetarian, it makes me hungry because they're just pretty and they look good. There you go. Look at that. Look at how a simple image changes everything. This is a spaghetti plate. This is a hamburger place. This is one that I think that's either a salmon or I don't know. But the point is, you can see how it changes. And then you can keep your same design look, but have different images to support it. Now, okay, you're not presenting a huge event that's going to have multiple restaurants. You may have one event that you're trying to promote to different audiences. So maybe you're having, and I know Megan is here with the library, so maybe you're having a family book opportunity, book club or something, and you have 6 or 7 different book classes or book clubs that you're wanting to promote. You can get the same general feel because you want to keep that general feel that you're supporting the library, and you don't want to have to redesign 6 or 7 different posters. You can take your background and use names of books from different genres or different age groups, etc. So there's a lot of creativity options there. So this is a general way of creating a poster. And then there's the whole saving side of it. And I know we're kind of running up on time, so I need to get down to the end. What I've done is I've showed you how to change the background, fonts, adding images, and then that transparency, which is, I just references is the fading of the color. Now, when you're done, you definitely want to name, like this was the original template of wine and cheese. I'm going to call it Taste of Smithville. That's just for my records. And I want to download it. I can wait, and here all changes saved, which is another nice feature in Canva. There's an auto save feature. But if I'm in a hurry, sometimes I can come in and I can save, and it's taken care of. I can also save it to a folder. And then if I wanted to use this same feature or the same principles for another poster later, and I don't want to lose this in my design catalog, then I can make a copy and then make changes and name it Taste of Kilimanjaro, wherever, you can duplicate without, anyway, totally recreating. Now, I'm going to show you a couple more things and I'm going to close out because we are coming up on the end of the hour. At the top right-hand corner, there is a download option. If you are creating something, this is just a suggestion. If you're creating something for someone else and you're wanting them to tell you whether or not they approve it or not before you send them the big file, download, because your options here, when you select the download option, the first file type is a PNG. That is suggested because PNG is a portable network graphic, which means it is going to sit best and be placed best in internet-based locations and also digital. So if you have like digital display, so your social medias, your websites, your digital displays, PNG is going to be your better option there. JPEG is a smaller file format, which is great for print as far as sharing in an email or like sharing with your client. It is not the best for social websites, etc. If you're going to print something on a postcard and you want a really incredible, clean, clear, crisp graphic, download the PNG and send that to your printer. So just keep in mind, JPEG is a smaller file size, which is excellent for emailing your client or your boss and letting them know, here's what I've designed. Let me know if you like it. It takes up less room in their inbox on their file. Some inboxes are kind of wacky like that. PNG is a larger file size. So once you get that approval, if you're not the final approver, once you get that final approval, come back in and you have options to select PDF standard. Again, it's a small file size, which it reads real simply there, or PDF is high quality. When I send something to the printer and it's going to be on a piece of large paper, like a ledger, this is 11 by 17, I send it as a PDF print, high quality. You guys, this is going to take a little while to download, especially based on your internet speed, but the options are amazing. You can actually turn this poster into a GIF, which is crazy. But what it does is it takes all your information and just pops it in. So it can make it a video, visual graphic, moving graphic if you use it for social media. But this is an 11 by 17. Once you create this and save it as a PDF and you share it with your client, you or your client or your boss can take that and actually print it on an 8.5 by 11. Sometimes if you create an 8.5 by 11 and they try to print it on 11 by 17, it skews it. And so it pixelates it and it's not as clean of an image. I hope all that makes sense. So I need to be quiet because you may have questions and I want to give you that option. So if you have a question, you can ask me by unmuting or you can chat. A couple of questions for you, give you a second there. Y'all did great asking questions during.
Anna, you did a great job.
Oh, Debbie, you're so kind.
I learned something.
This is an amazing platform and
I love it.
this is like skimming the surface, you know, it's really amazing. I did tell you about I wanted to make sure I touched on a couple of things, is how to save differently and the different formats and why, and then copywriting. I will say that this is your design and it's amazing how things can be searched. Once these things are promoted online, it could be found one day. But what I'm going to caution everyone, I gave you information of what I do. When I need some ideas, sometimes literally I go to the internet and I type in taste of, there you go, Philly. See how it pops up? And this is nowhere near us, but I'm not going to steal their images. I'm going to select, oh, leave me alone. I'm going to select images. And now it gives me all kinds of, what does this look like? It looks like they have an event or here's one right here. Look at this, a taste of Philly. So this gives me some ideas. And we did something very similar to that, but notice how they've used different fonts. They've used some different features like that banner at the bottom, and then they put their sponsor at the top. So that's just something that I do on the side just to get ideas when I don't use templates.
Yeah.
All right. I do have some other housekeeping. Let me make sure that Megan didn't ask me a question in the chat. Awesome. Megan, feel free to. You guys, my information, I better go back to that. I'm gonna go stop share for a minute and go back to this here. April always tells me, be sure you promote. Can you guys see this screen? We're at Coffee Break Podcast.
No, we just see you.
Well, that's not good. Maybe I should share my screen. That might help. I tell you what, you'd think I'd do this more often. Where am I? It's in here somewhere. You know, in my sheer excitement, I X'd out of it. Isn't that awesome? Give me 2 seconds. Tell your bosses and all your people that it was my fault. Let me grab this up before goodness gracious. You can be all prepared and these things happen. They're going to use this as a outtakes. I'm sure not. Okay, I'm going to share screen again. Here we go. Now do you see my little presentation, PowerPoint?
Yes.
Excellent. I wanted to let you guys know that I have a Coffee Break podcast. It is for small businesses. It's about getting them, helping people along the road of running a small business. And also, this is how you can contact me. Thank you, Megan. If you need me for anything, I really enjoyed social media and the digital marketing side of audio, podcasting, and websites. I know Debbie is a fantastic print marketer, as well as an EDDM, etc. And Debbie Denny Media is a fantastic outlet to go to for your needs as well. This is me. I also want to let you know that next week on the 23rd, it will be at 6 p.m. class, will be Canva Ii, Beyond the Basics. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper into resizing using one image and how to use it on multiple platforms. So that could be from print to postcard to social media such as Facebook to Instagram to Twitter, because they're all different sizes. It can make you crazy if you try to design from scratch for every one of them. So that'll be some of the things that we cover there. And hopefully people like yourselves will ask questions, and then we can direct the training to meet your needs. The class after that, the last class in March, is at noon on March 30th, and is Photography 101 taught by Linda Bauer with the Winning Shot Sports Photography. And that is understanding the basics and giving you a jump start on creating great photographs. Of course, you can always go to, I keep pausing my screen. I'm going to show you the chamber page. You can always go to the, where did you guys go? I lost y'all. Let's share my screen. You can always go to the chamber page. Hopefully you can see the chamber page right now. Debbie, can you see the chamber page on my screen?
And yes, yes.
Excellent, thank you. This is a fantastic website that is very, very relevant, always up to date. Under the events tab, you can scroll down to virtual online classes. And of course, here is a full listing starting from January 28th all the way down to, it goes all the way into, goodness, look at all these classes. There are more to be scheduled. But if you're looking for I apologize, I probably went way too fast. There are previous classes. You can see that the video archive is available there. Here's the one I was talking about with Ben Gage and all the others. Here's the one that Debbie provided for us on Marketing 101. So if you will not to catch up, you can go there. You can also go to the, can you see the Chamber's Facebook page on my screen?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you, Debbie. You can also check out upcoming events by selecting the events tab at the top of the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, and you can see these classes. They just haven't been published yet, and I have a little bit of access to this. That's why they're showing up, otherwise they wouldn't. But we have a class on the 23rd and the 30th, and of course, any other events that are going on or sponsored by the Chamber. All right, you guys. Let me stop sharing and show you. Yay, you're done. So thank you for being here. I so appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks. Look forward to the next one.
Yay, look forward to seeing you guys. Don't hesitate to give me a call or email me if you have any questions. You can find me on social media, and I'll be happy to help you out. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks, Megan.